What is good, YouTube? We back with another video, man. Ronell MMA. Y'all already know the deal. First of all, we got to talk about last weekend, man. UFC 328, Chimaev versus Strickland. Didn't do too well, especially in the main card. Yeah, especially in the main card. But um, it is what it is. It's weird because I was doing real good up until like King Green fight, and then I lost out. So let's get into it, talk about it, add a little commentary, and then we'll talk about this upcoming weekend. So first off, we had Jose Ochoa getting that dub. Looked really good, man. Clayton Carpenter, got to give it to him for the chin. Like he was taking some monster shots. Honestly, Jose Ochoa is ready for rankings, and to me, he can hang up there with Joshua Van. But it is what it is. Soon. I feel like Jose Ochoa is rising. He's really good fighter, dude. That was a really good fight, honestly. We had Bison Susukayev taking the dub. We knew that was gonna happen. Jordan Santos, tough dude, very tough. Looked good. Bison is very cocky. You can tell in his fighting, he's pretty cocky, but it's proven. So this was a good test for him. Went into deep waters. Round three. Honestly, he was winning the whole fight though, so wasn't really in question. This next fight, absolute snoozer. Pat Sabatini, just yeah, they got to do something about the guys that just like wrestle and hold and don't really advance and try to get to a sub. That stuff is so boring, bro. Like, I mean, yeah, you can dominate a guy, but like, oh, drop the mic, but like, it's not really um winning the fight. Like, you're just kind of stalling. And like kind of like in the wrestling approach, in wrestling matches, you get penalized for stalling. So yeah, this was a stall match. Gomez, he had some chances on the feet though. He had no defense on that Sabatini wrestling, so dropped that one. Kopilov got the decision. Wow, he had me worried for a second. He was getting beat up in the second, and dude, he turned it on in the third, turned it around. I wish I would have had money on that fight because that probably had a crazy line, like on Poly Market, like round two. Like, yeah, Kopilov's getting knocked out. Probably had like a plus 1,000 on Kopilov at that moment just to pull it out. This one, Jared Gordon, I guess he fell off, man. Can't even beat Jim Miller, but Jim Miller is the tank. Dude, he's like the LeBron of MMA, longevity wise. Yeah, I don't think Jim Miller's ever won a title, but dude's durable, man. Whoa. And got a quick sub. So it's pretty dope. We had Dawson getting that win. He got it by sub. I was expecting TKO, but yeah, late round, a late fight finish. It was a pretty good fight. Pretty good fight. This one, I wasn't surprised, honestly. Joel Alvarez, his grappling is not there, and Amasov, dudes from the Caucasus Mountain regions, your Russians, Ukrainians, Slavics, they they're just tough, man. They're very tough. They have grappling prowess, and then they just sprinkle in some striking, mix it up on the feet. Khabib really showed them the formula. Like, these dudes can't hang with the grappling dominance, so use that as your base, and then strike as much as you need to get the takedown or to get to your position. But yeah, Amasov locked up a nice head and arm triangle. It was very nice, very nice. Atiba Gautier, I I I thought I picked a KO, but it was my patent round two KO. I shouldn't have picked that. Patent pending, sorry. I should have picked that. I feel like I did, but maybe it didn't save, or maybe I skipped over it, whatever. But yeah, Atiba, he should be ranked by the end of this year, top 15. He is a monster, dude. They got to stop feeding him these cans. But every time he looks better and better, technically sound, very poised in the octagon, and that's scary when a guy with like Ngannou power, and I'm not saying Ngannou just because they're both from Cameroon, but like Ngannou power with like a mindset of like a patient striker, like like high IQ. Like imagine GSP with. I'm not saying he's GSP, right? But I'm saying imagine a fighter that's like GSP IQ, GSP IQ with like the bombs of Dan Henderson or like the bombs of Poatan type of deal. Yeah, that's nuts. I'm not saying that he's that fighter, but like he's starting to look like that because everyone knows he has the power in his hands. But it's like, can he break somebody down? And he broke Ozzy Diaz down. Not really too much of a challenge. No disrespect to Ozzy, but different levels, right? We had King Green getting that dub, and he had a quick submission. Jeremy Stevens, it looked like he shouldn't have. Jeremy Stevens should have stayed retired, bro. Like that ring rust. I don't know. It might have been ring rust, right? But King Green, nice submission. Was it a guillotine? I'm trying to remember the submission, but he was styling on Jeremy, talking to him, hands low, just getting nasty on him, man. It was nice. But vintage Bobby Green didn't even get a bonus. Crazy work, but it is what it is. And then here's where my losing streak started, man. I thought Buckley could keep the fight standing, but if the thing about MMA, if you don't have a grappling base, man, you're gonna get hugged on the floor. I'm not saying Sean Brady hugged on the floor, but man, it didn't seem like he wanted to go for a finish, really. My opinion. I may be wrong. It didn't look like he wanted to finish. And I'm like, in my opinion, if you're in a fight, right, do you want to fight a full 15? Or do you want to fight like 4 to 5 minutes? Like get out of there. Like King Green. You could submit a guy, get him out of there. So I don't know, but I mean, if you're having your way, you're not taking any damage. Why not? Um, really good fight between these two. Volkov took it. And Volkov just played his game. He mixed it up more. Waldo really head hunting, and he was snapping Alexander Volkov's head back. But Volkov is arguably, in line for a title fight. We got to see how Alex and Cyril ends up. The winner will probably face Aspinall and then Volkov after that. So it's like Volkov's probably gonna be out for a year. Um, that'll be dope if they could get him in there though. Yeah, depending on the result of Pereira and Gone, and then I guess if Aspinall's ready, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting. But Waldo looked good, but he didn't do enough. Volkov definitely mixed it up more. Had some kicks in there. Well, I don't know how many kicks Waldo threw, but it seemed like he didn't throw much. And then he was kind of trying to get in Alexander's head and make him get into a brawl. When it's a fight business, man, you got to get into it. Joshua Van got the dub. We picked Tetsuya Taira. I thought the grappling would prove better for Taira. He was taking a lot of shots, man. Like Taira's number one priority in his next camp should definitely be head movement, getting his head off the center line. Because credit to him though, he is a tank. The shots he took from Joshua Van were, crazy, and yeah, I wish he would have got his jiu-jitsu going a little bit more. He was attacking though. He had a triangle, but the angle was off, and there was really late, so it was already sweaty, and blood was already in the mix. So the triangle didn't really have a good grip to get locked up. But Joshua Van proved a lot. He proved a lot, right? Like he proved he can grapple. He proved he can survive on the floor, and his hands are lethal. His hands are lethal, man. Um, he had Tyra hurt like like at least 20 minutes of this fight. No, more like 17 to 18 minutes of this fight. Like Tyra was really hurt. Just getting him, jabbing him to death, man. And the main event, right? That was, I wouldn't say anticlimactic, because I thought it was just Hamzat by domination, quick submission. But Sean Strickland has proved he is one of the best middleweight in the UFC, right? I mean, I think they're gonna rematch. We got some couple dudes in the mix. We got Imavov still waiting on the sideline. We got DDP, who has beat Sean twice, right? So, um, which is weird. MMA math, like Hamzat dominated DDP. DDP got 2 wins against Sean. I would say he's 1-1 against Sean. I definitely think Sean won. I think Sean won the first fight. You look at their faces. Who got beat up more? There was more damage. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, Chimaev gassed out in round 2. That was nuts. Like he just focused on the takedown so much, and he had no cardio in round 2. He looked like adrenaline dump. Did not look good. Sean Strickland. You know, I don't know how I judge that one. I do think Sean did more. I think it was 2-2 going into the fifth, and I think Sean was just more aggressive. Not more aggressive, but causing more damage. You look at Hamzat's face, like, dude, yeah, you know. So good card, not bad. A lot of bangers. Besides, the little grapple fest that we saw in there, here and there sprinkled in, but yeah. And let's get into this weekend. I don't know if does UFC. I'm pretty sure they have a fight this weekend, right? Yeah. I was about to say, don't leave us with the the MVP card, the Ronda Rousey and Carano, and I'm not gonna go over those picks. I just threw them in there, just throw them in there. I did my own picks, but we got Arnold Allen versus Milky Zael Costa. So let's see if this is one of those, just um, random fight nights where I don't know a lot of people, or this will be like, the underrated banger. Who knows? First off, we got some women in the strawweight. Shauna Bannon versus Nicole Cagliari. I'm gonna go Bannon. I've seen her fight. She has some hands, dude. She's pretty nice. Seen her get a submission. Yeah, so we'll go Bannon by decision. Next up, Daniel Perez versus Luis Guril, who's on a crazy losing streak. 3 fights. Excuse me, guys. I don't know if that's a crazy losing streak. Three fights, not too crazy, but probably gonna go Perez on this one. Guril didn't look too hot in his last one. Yeah, flyweights. So definitely won't live up to the height of last week's flyweights of Van, Tyra, and Carpenter and Ochoa, but see what these guys got to offer. Alice Ardeline versus Poliana Viana. She's finally fighting, dude. She hasn't fought in over a year. Yeah, she's just been, I guess, just social media side quests. I mean, if that's paying the bills, it's paying the bills. But I don't think she's in the fight game really anymore. She's kind of just like a social media presence now. Kind of just like using her beauty and using her like status. So I'm gonna go Ardeline. Um, Ardeline probably has better grappling anyway, and is stronger than Polly. So we'll go decision on this one. Andre Petroski versus Cody Brundage. Yeah, this is a pretty washed fight. Not gonna lie. I get Petroski mixed up with Arlovsky. I don't know why. Never mind. Petroski's not washed. I like Petroski. But Brundage, dude, he's been on a crazy trajectory right now. 3 losses in a row, and that draw. Yeah, they both have a loss to Cam Rouston. Yeah, Cam Rouston is the truth, bro. He's nice. Rouston's nice. I think Brundage is fighting like way too much. Look at this fight frequency. 3 fights in literally 9 months. If you go back, 4 fights in a year. Well, about to be 5 in a year. So that's a lot of fights. And then we got 2 in a year for Petroski. I'm gonna go Petroski on this one. Decision. Probably gonna be more active, get after it more. Ketlin Vieta versus Jacqueline Cavalcante, Caval, Cavalcanti. We'll pick Cavalcante. Vieira looked terrible in the last fight. Norma Dumont. Yeah, that was one of the another terrible fight. Terrible fight. So she's probably on her way out of the UFC as well. We got Tommy Gant versus Artur Minev. Not familiar with either of these guys. Jawbreaker Boxing, UFD Gym. Okay, so he's coming from Fury, and he's coming off the Contender Series. Yeah, I'm gonna go Gant. What is this, lightweight 155ers? Yeah, so stag division. We'll go Gant. Seems like he has the reach advantage. Well, there's no reach for this guy, but I don't know. I don't know these guys. Hopefully Gant has some wrestling, because if this guy's coming from Ukraine, he definitely has some grappling on him. So we're gonna go Gant by I'm gonna say KO. I'm gonna say he gets a KO in the second round. Why not? Tukos versus Ivan Arslan. Whoa, three fight losing streak. Okay, but he's had some time to recover. Year 7, 11, and 7 months. So his losses are spread out, and 2 decisions, 1 submission. He's coming off a win against Junior Taffa. I'm gonna go Tukos on this one. By, let's see, it doesn't seem like he gets KO'd. Killcliff, American Top Team. Should be a good fight. I'm gonna go just decision. I think they go the full 15. Nikolai Veretennikov versus Chaos Williams. Chaos is no BS, and he's a pretty dangerous fighter. But I'm gonna go Veretennikov. His win against Nico Price was nuts. I thought he would lose to Prado. I picked Prado. I remember that one. And oh wow, he lost to Punahele. So wow, people are going Williams on this one. That's actually surprising. I'm gonna go Veretennikov on this one. I'm gonna go by submission. Actually, I think he gets. Yeah, I think they go to the ground, get some grappling in there, mix it up, because I don't think Chaos has real grappling prowess. Yeah. Round 3 submission. I think it goes pretty late. Timmy Kuamba versus Bernardo Sapage. Sapage is like a Timu Taporia. No disrespect. Hasn't fought in a while, though. Wow. Ricky Tercios a year ago. Vinicius Oliveira over 2 years ago. They lost by flying knee. But other than that, he's been pretty stellar. Yeah, oddly enough, I haven't seen Kuamba fight, I think. I probably picked him. But, I'm going to go Sapage on this one. Just decision. Next up, we got Modestas Bukauskas versus Christian Edwards. Yeah, I don't know Christian Edwards, but it looks like he just came out of nowhere. Shoulder injury, okay. Probably going to pick Bukauskas on this one, too. Yeah. We'll just, I'm going to go KO. Yeah, probably KO. I mean, 97% of people are picking KO, so we'll go round 1 KO. Doesn't go long. My boy Malcolm Wellmaker is back, coming off that loss against Ethan Ewing, which has proven a good loss. Ethan Ewing looks good, so it's no notch on his belt. It just shows maybe he got a little ahead of himself. Maybe he's, get back to the drawing board and sharpen up on some things. But I like Wellmaker. Wellmaker's nice. That was his first loss, and that's how you know what a fighter's really made of. How they bounce back from a loss. Can they make the changes, the adjustments? I believe Wellmaker will make those adjustments, and I think he's going to get back into that KO column. I think he's going to knock this guy out in round 2. Doho Choi versus Daniel Santos. I think Doho Choi is trains out of, I believe this is Korean Zombies gym. I think he's like the Korean Zombies, not like prodigy, but Yeah, Chuta Boxing, Diego Lima. That gym is nice. That's Charles' gym, man. But a lot of people coming out of there are showing very promising and firecrackers, man. So I'm gonna pick Santos on this one. I can't really recall seeing his fights, but he's on a win streak. He's on a good win streak. This 145 division, same division as the main event. So the co-main, I'm gonna give it to Santos by. I'm gonna say he gets a submission. Why not? Even though he's proven to be knees and stuff, I think he gets it to the ground, gets a submission like round 3. And last but not least, we got Arnold Allen versus Melquizael Costa. And Costa has been on a tear, man. I think it's like 6 straight. But he's been putting dudes away, finishing guys, getting KOs. He's on a highlight tear right now. Guillotine against Andre Fili. The decision win against Christian Rodriguez, proving very well. Christian Rodriguez is good. Julian Erosa, another good win. Head kick against Morgan Cherie, and a KO spinning back kick. So a head kick and a spinning back kick. Yeah, he's lighted up right now. So, and Arnold Allen, on the other hand, the thing that Arnold Allen has on him is the experience of better fighters, the quality and of experience. So Max, Movzar, Giga Chikadze, John Silva. So there's better experience favoring Allen. And I think he looked good in the John fight. I just think Jean Silva was more active and more theatrical, more play to the judges, make it look better. But I think Arnold is still sharp, still got some gas left in the tank. He's got to turn Costa around though, because Costa, he's surging. He's a surging prospect right now. Not even a prospect anymore, a contender. With the If Costa gets a win, he definitely gets a top 5 guy next, right? And that'll be really good for him. I think Arnold needs this to get back in the conversation he wants to be in. If he doesn't get this, he may drop out of the rankings. This is Tapology's rankings, not UFC's rankings, by the way. But I think Arnold wins. I think he has more experience, and he'll just fight better. He'll stay out of harm's way. I mean, Jean couldn't knock him out, and Jean probably has more power than Costa for sure. More unpredictability than Costa for sure, I would say. And for that reason, I think Arnold gets a win by decision. I think it goes the distance. I don't think there'll be a knockout. Arnold's really tough, and it'll go the distance. And hopefully this time, Arnold will surf on the Brazilian's back. Imagine Costa does the same thing John does. That'll be nuts, man. But yeah, Arnold, he's still got some legs, man. I think he's still got some legs. And Costa, I think it'll be a good fight to where Costa doesn't lose too much flack on this one either, Just gets the experience. So that's all I got for you guys. About to lock these picks in for UFC Fight Night. Arnold Allen versus Milk. Let me say that again. UFC Fight Night. Arnold Allen versus Melquizael Costa. And that's it. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know who you guys got. And I'll see you guys next week, man. Peace.